Hello, 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 hello. How are you doing this beautiful Friday? Not so in New York. I've been reading the chat. Zeddy said hello from soggy New York. Not soggy in Florida. That's for sure. It's getting hot though. It's getting hot. Welcome to Double Decker Delora Day, as it's been named. And this is part one. Tonight we have part two. We have a special guest on Fab 4. So you don't want to miss that. It's going to be an interesting show. This one is as well. This is, I went down a road that I haven't gone down. And I did it. And let me just tell you something. What you're going to see today is like scratching the surface. You're going to get an overview. You're going to get an understanding. Maybe it'll open up all of our minds a little bit more. But I had a time yesterday looking at this stuff. It was like, wow, everything. God just opened it all up to me. And it was pretty amazing. It was pretty amazing. So welcome, welcome, welcome. So happy you're here. We have the best chat anywhere. Oh, guys, also Rumble. Denise Stone, excited for you. Excited for you. God, should I even mention that? You know what? I'm going to mention it. Denise, I got to believe that's on YouTube. That's maybe the prodding of the Holy Spirit to me. I don't say this a lot, but I know a lot of you have asked me, why is my skin? And I went to the hairdresser the other day and she said, I was doing my roots. And she said, you don't have gray on the side here anymore. So what is going on? What's going on? Why am I becoming a Benjamin Button? So I'll tell you, I can't do it all here. But if you go to takingbackourhealth.com, that's not the other Taken Back. I take Taken Back from Kim, but it's takingbackourhealth.com. I personally will contact you. Okay. And that's all I'm going to say. And that's because of Denise Stone. You did it to me, Denise. Anyway, isn't it amazing? This is, let me go over the joincountry.com. My incredible daughter, Jenna, oh God, she is such a, I can't say this because I love all my kids, obviously, but Jenna, like we'd be friends if I wasn't her mother. Just such a sweetie. But anyway, this, I'm going to show you what this looks like. I'm not going to stand up and start modeling for you guys, but this is what it looks like. Okay. You see it? Isn't that cool? Jenna had me model this. It's kind of vintage looking a little bit, but it is, let me tell you, it is light. Like I'm going to be wearing this probably Memorial Day and July 4th. It is just amazing. So that's called Proud to Be an American, USA lightweight sheer cardigan. It says one size fits most. So I'm like a medium and it fits, so it'll fit a little relaxed. It can fit up to 2X, even 3X. It'll just be a little bit tighter. Very lightweight, perfect for Memorial Day or July 4th. Jenna said she has less than a dozen. And this is like a amazing price, okay? And you do not pay shipping. So let me get that off of there. Okay, now I'm going to show you this other thing. Another new thing that just came in. Wait till you see this. I like when I saw it. This is Rose rotating gift box. Okay, let me make sure I'm going the right way. No, I'm not. Okay, so here's the box. All right, watch this. See the rose? Look what happens. Oops, wrong way. Look at this necklace. Look at this necklace in there. It is so gorgeous. I don't know if you can see it. And it says, to my daughter, a rose for your endless warmth, a knot for our unbreakable bond. That is a knot with a crystal in the middle of it. It is just amazing. Look at this. Whoops, wrong way. Look at this. Look. And wait, and look at it. And it comes in this box, in this bag. I'm just like, I can't. I know. We're going to get a t-shirt that says, I can't. I get it. I get it. Okay. That's it. All of these items are linked in the description below. Easiest place to find them is joyandcountry.com. Delora's Closet. Yes, this is in my closet, along with this. For you French people, closet. We have a Mom's Day weekend sale going on until Sunday at midnight. Get up to 20% off your entire order, including clearance items, and always free U.S. shipping. As I say to my dad says, shippino. Okay, guys, so let's do this. Wow. I have it all in front of me, like what notes and things, and I still don't know what to say. Also, though, I want to wish, so I don't forget at the end, okay? And then people like write to me and say, how could you not wish us Happy Mother's Day? Happy Mother's Day, okay? And I have a thing I post, I'm going to post on Sunday. It's like, to the dads who act like moms, to the moms who are adopted moms, to the moms of pets, to the moms that are, biological moms. It's just funny. But anyway, Happy Mother's Day, everyone. Okay, so this off the cuff is going to be dedicated to old world America and the world population lie. Wait, what? What? You mean there's not 8.5 billion people in the world? Let me tell you what has happened. As time passed and as time is going on, I'm realizing that everything has to be questioned. I know most of you agree with me. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm really not. If you've been following me, very rarely do I say, oh, I think this because, I don't. I look at it. I act like I'm in a court of law. I find the preponderance of the evidence, and then I go forward and I explain it to all of you. So how do we know that the population of the earth is 8.5 billion? When I was young, I don't know if you guys remember this. If you did, let me know that you did. They used to come around my neighborhood. Maybe it's just because we lived in this little town in Massachusetts. I don't know. But they would take the census. Like I would come to the door and he would say, how many people live in your home? And my mom would say 5. And then he would say, thank you very much. And he would leave. And I'd see him go across the street and he would ask the people across the street. And he did the whole area. But then as far as population, I'm going to get that. I'm going to tie it to where I'm going. But I started looking online. Some people are actually posting about some of this stuff and have been for quite a while. I did not consider walking down the road and doing an off the cuff on it, but I was really moved to do it yesterday. When I sat down and prayed about what I was going to do, I was really moved. America, see, when I look at the pictures, and I'm going to show you a short video. I could go all over the world to talk about antiquated, gorgeous, magnificent buildings, but we're going to stick with America for this off the cuff. America is old. America is not new. Now, they try to make you think that America is new. It's really not. It's really old. I understand what I'm telling you is a theory, but I also understand that what they're saying is a lie. But we were taught that America was founded and resulted because of great explorers. The great and learned scientists told us that we came from monkeys at the same time. Most people believed it. Most people believe anything accept the truth. Those same people that believe anything won't accept the truth. It's very mind-boggling to me. Or that we dwelled in a cave for thousands of years and didn't read or write, but we scratched in on the walls pictures of an animal chasing a person, even though they're not anywhere. We can't find those anywhere, in any cave, anywhere. The lie was then put into one of the biggest films I can remember, and I'm sure many of you will remember this. It was called 2001: A Space Odyssey. And the propaganda began and exacerbated as time continued. They told us great civilizations existed and they fought each other. Some prevailed. Some cities and civilizations died. A philosopher named Marshall McLuhan, he was born in 1911, listen to his quote. He believed that media themselves, not the content of the media, not what they say, but media itself is the message. This is his quote. Only the small secrets need to be protected. The large ones are kept secret by public incredulity. Now, if you don't know what incredulity means, it means the state of being unwilling to accept or believe something, even though it's true. So let me give you that quote again. Only the small secrets need to be protected. The large ones are kept secret by the public, who will be unwilling to accept or believe truth. The man, early 1900s, was at the heart of mainstream media. He knew that they could play God, and a lot of people literally play God with truth, and a lot of people would actually believe it. So what happened? Did it get better? No, it actually got worse. And it got even more so when Donald Trump won in 2016. The height of what that philosopher has said about media was never more true than in the last 9 years. We were told that man has always warred with each other since the dawn of the ages in caves. We can't agree on anything. We have to go to war to settle it. People can't live in harmony. People can't live in peace. No, we don't do that. Sadly, it is not us that goes to war. It's not us that start things, but we're the ones that get sent into the war. It's the corrupt and evil dictators and presidents of countries that say we cannot live in harmony. If we removed all of them, the whole world would be in harmony. They would shake hands in Ukraine and Russia over the border. They're not fighting for Ukraine and Russia. Those two dictators are fighting over Ukraine and Russia. We were told that enlightened thinkers know all knowledge and truth. We can't think of it for ourselves. Only enlightened thinkers. We call this the Rockefeller indoctrination. Now, let me just say a really quick disclaimer here. As with everything else I share, like I said in the beginning, it's the preponderance of the evidence that brings me to the points I'm going to share with you. And these are the conclusions I've come to. If you're watching this, you probably decipher and discern things similar to what I do. You probably question everything. You draw your own conclusions based on fact, maybe, standing on my shoulders, maybe seeing things differently than you probably would have through observation, experiment, and discernment. So where are we right now? What is around us? What really is the world population? I'm going to play a video for you. And these are some of the most magnificent buildings in America. And I'm gonna stay on, and I'm going to, let's see, is that it? Yeah. Okay. Watch these buildings. Look at the intricacy. Look at how ornate they are. Look at the towers. Look at how it looks even medieval, like Europe. Look at some of these buildings. Let me tell you how interesting this is. Some of these buildings have one bathroom in them, and they're 30,000, 40,000 square feet, and people lived in them. Millionaires at that time lived in them. Who made these buildings? Most of these were made when there was still dirt roads and horse and buggies. So where did they come from? Look at the architectural look at around the windows, the architecture. Look at it is amazing. Look, there's not even cars yet. So when I started looking down that road, I discovered a couple of interesting things. This is the Mark Hopkins mansion in San Francisco. Okay. Now you'll understand why I'm like, something is off. The California gold rush was in the mid 1800s, with most people arriving in California between 1850 and 1890. Okay. This mansion was supposedly built, they tell you it was built in 1878. Now, I don't know about you, but when a new group of people move to a new state, and they go there mostly because they're told they will find gold. That's why it was called the California Gold Rush. You think they took 20 years or 10 years or whatever it was to build this? It's completely illogical. Most buildings that look like this in that time period that they said it existed in the 1800s, it took 70 to 80 years to build, we are told. Then how did this get built and completed within not even 20 years? And then in 1906, it was destroyed in the San Francisco 3-day fire. How convenient. But then there's another one. Look at this. Now, this is Notre Dame. Okay, the Notre Dame Cathedral. This is one of the most magnificent buildings in Europe. There was a fire in 2019. You see the scaffolding? That's a recent picture. 2019. That is 5-6 years ago. They started on this, and they said it could even take another decade before they can finish it completely. Where's the logic in that? All of this completely contradicts the narrative that we have been taught for many, many years. So what's going on? There has been a dark and malevolent force working against the truth of humanity since we've been on this earth. And that force has tried to create and has succeeded for a good amount of it, to create a world where we are completely indoctrinated by TV, films, education, media, and on and on and on. It controls what we know our history to be. It controls the planet we live on. It controls the sky we look up to and what we're told all of it is. What is the size and shape of our world? How many people really do exist on the planet? It controls our economic system. It decides if the market goes up and down, if metals go up and down. Do you know right now silver would probably be well over $100 an ounce? They're holding back. It's going to have to be released, but they're holding back that price. They don't want people to have money. Instead, we pay taxes, which was supposed to be gone after World War I. Why we even have to pay taxes is, and that's what President Trump is speaking about right now. In the 1800s, the Royal Society of Fellows attempted to make humanity very insignificant, not worthy of living well, not worthy of getting any benefits. They're the victors. They have all the knowledge. The Royal Society of Fellows, look them up. Most of us have believed our history. We were taught it in school. That's why I say the more HMs and POs and PhDs and MAAs and MBAs and all these things you have after your name, the less of a, generally speaking, not everybody. I know people that are very college educated and are open. Generally speaking, the more you have after your name, the less of a free thinker you have become. So most of us have always believed. I did. And I question everything. When I went to school, I believed what they said. I believed that the history. I mean, I woke up in college, but I believe we were taught in our education system. Oh, war upon war. I can people saying, well, the documents have been passed down. But are those documents correct? Are they incorrect? Don't get mad at me. I'm just questioning. As I look at the buildings I just showed you, I can't for the life of me figure out how they were constructed with modern day tools and without modern day tools and without architectural knowledge. Now, you saw Notre Dame with modern day tools. Been 6 years. They're saying it may be another decade. Why? I like what Nikola Tesla said. Here's the quote. Instinct, or we might call it discernment, okay? But he said, instinct is something which transcends knowledge. We have undoubtedly certain finer fibers that enable us to perceive truths when logical deduction or any other willful effort of the brain is futile. That's where we are now. Before I continue, during Obama and Biden, there was a push to take down statues, older monuments, older buildings. Several old buildings, many, caught fire during that time. Go look it up. Churches burned to the ground. Was that deliberate? I don't know. But isn't it interesting? When do so many coincidences turn into a question in our mind? At some point, all the coincidences that happened during Obama and Biden have to be questioned. Fear and deception is what is at the foundation of much of this. Sometimes I ask myself, how could they pull this off? This is huge. This is beyond conception, actually. Look at the 1800s, just in my opinion. It was the most volatile of times. Pestilences wiped out much of humanity. Or did it? Insane asylums, even up to the 70s and 80s. People were still getting shock treatments. I'll tell you, I know someone very close to our family that he was a real brilliant guy, real free thinker. He was because his brain was beyond, he was an inventor, beyond anything that was normal for that time. He was very anxious, and the family got concerned about him, and they put him, get some treatments, which we're told were good. And several times he got shock treatments. This is in the late 70s. I was young, but I remember. I remember my parents sitting at the table and hearing my parents talk about it, not having any idea what they were talking about. Afterwards, he was like he had a lobotomy. What about orphanages? You see, Oliver, more please. Are you kidding me? They turned Annie. Nobody ever adopted them. What did they do with those kids? Do you ever hear anyone in your life ever say that they were in a huge orphanage and then they were freed at 18 years old when they were legal? And they tell you, well, I was in a huge orphanage with 1,000 kids. Where'd those kids go? 1900s, wars that wiped out another big portion of our population. And then the formalization of state education. And much of what I'm talking about began right there. 1900s, radio, TV, internet, cell phones. So, Delora, what about the Declaration of Independence? I believe that was a true attempt to move away from what our founders knew would swallow us up one day. They knew it. They knew it. Was there errors that could have been made better? Sure, there was. Yeah, absolutely. Because once you start laying down a document like that, the corrupt and evil of this world will take it and twist it and give themselves the power and the money. But they didn't want our freedom taken away. You look, we can look at this and we can say, well, they didn't, they got this wrong, they got that wrong. I agree with that. But they wanted freedom. They didn't want to take away the people's freedom to think, freedom to live the way we want, the way we wish, freedom to worship as we want. They want people that took over that document and still dealing today and refuse. Actually, it's kind of got thrown out, but that's another off the cuff. They want to enslave us. And if you really think about it, here we are. Also in the 1900s, along comes the Federal Reserve, which allowed them to take control of America through the financial system. That the Federal Reserve was probably one of the biggest turns to reset us to never be what was put together and that the founders put together. The Federal Reserve took it all away in one private institution that they call federal. And to this day, most people still think it's part of the government. Think about the world fairs, all of them. Look into them. They were used to reset the narrative. Look at them. Study the world fairs. I'm going to do an off the cuff on it. It's that interesting. It was a reset. Every time. Why do you think they did a world fair? Why? Oh, so they can help people understand? No. They did a world fair because that at that time, with the what they had available to use, was a reset of the narrative. America was used for reset, especially since we were known to be the youngest country and the one who, even if it was on paper, had the greatest freedoms. We've discussed this before, many times before. There's a battle, but your thinking, if you think, and I know a lot of people still do that aren't awake, they really think it's black and against white, left against right, a believer against an atheist. Those things couldn't be further from the truth. It is good versus evil. Bottom line, that's it. Good versus evil. So these forces of darkness are here to enslave us. Trump disrupted their timeline. They were going to have this completely done by 2030. Not so easy for them to acquire it now. He is resetting the reset. That's what President Donald J. Trump is doing. Now, I understand that sometimes me included, I'm right there with you. I wish he'd go faster. I wish he'd take care of this. I wish he'd take care of that. Can you imagine being in his shoes, knowing all he knows, knowing what's behind door number 3? If he opens 1 and 2 and he opens number 3, he may lose everything. There are so many, that's why people call it 5D chess. There are so many intricacies in and out of this thing that for us to be here, and I gotta look at this with hope-filled eyes, because I truly believe this. For us to be here at this time and not worse off than they didn't want us here. If Hillary got in 2016, I'd be in a cage. I understand that. But they want us in what is called a Borg mentality, B-O-R-G. Go look it up. They want us in a Borg mentality. Look up who Borg was. That basically means the individual's nothing. Individual freedom is suppressed. Concept of collective consciousness must be embraced. And today we like to call it groupthink. 1900s was filled of the attempt toward the Borg mentality. And into the 2000s, it got even more incredible. 9/11. I still remember losing my mind, seeing our then president standing atop of the pile of rubble and holding a flag, and all of Congress swaying, singing the national anthem, knowing what I know. That really kicked off a reset in this country we have never, ever regained. America, in its inception and the founders' thoughts, was a country which would be a beacon of imagination, free thought, a place where you could express yourself freely without persecution. Did they miss it? Not really. Not really. They knew. They put a lot of kind of stopgaps in the Constitution and Declaration of Independence. They knew the man that seeks power and greed would allow evil to infiltrate and allow it to go in a way against what our country really was founded on. Why do you think that evil is trying to demonize the United States? Because they want people to lose hope in the possibility of true freedom. And many are doing just that. They create division, so we point at each other and we get upset with each other. So that's how they keep us enslaved. You know, I have an analogy and I use it all the time. If you're in a jail cell, okay, and you got someone in the jail cell with you, and you're looking at the bars, you're looking at other inmates, you're watching what's going on. You're let out, you walk outside, you come back in, you go to you have dinner. You're okay. You're going to be fine. The second you look in between those bars and you see what's out there, and you see freedom, and you see this is what has happened to the truth movement. Many of us, even decades ago, were looking at the bars and we hated what we saw. Now, if you can, You need to look between the bars and look past the bars and look at what is possible. Because the second you look through the bars and beyond the cell, you become dangerous to the state that wants to enslave you. God made the human mind to be curious, to want to explore, to want truth in the deepest areas of our being. And those that are listening to this and those that will watch it later, I thank God for all of you, because we're marching together. We may not agree on everything. I don't have a problem with that. I don't know why everybody should have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that. Pick a side, good, evil. You pick good, we march together. Jesus said, if they're not against us, they're for us. What we must question is, going back to the buildings, who made these magnificent edifices? What is it that evil is trying to hide? Obviously, it's something that will empower us, that will make us more free, something that will give us a better life. Or they wouldn't try to hide it. They wouldn't lie about it. Same thing with population. Why are they hiding the real number? I know the real number. After everything I studied over the past couple of days, I know the real number is not 8.5 billion. I know it. Why are they trying to hide that? I'll explain a little bit more about that later. But how do they know there's 8.5 billion people in the world? Talked about census. The Census Bureau comes to your door. No more. Do you know that resources are infinite? Resources that we say, they tell us it's being depleted. Another 20 years, we may not have food. Resources are infinite. According to a man named Julian Simon, they are not dwindling down to nothing. He was a very optimistic economist who said humans are intelligent and we can innovate our way out of scarcity anytime at all, even through greater efficiency. Humans have always done it and they always will. It's the way God made us. The powers that be would like us to believe that there are too many people and our resources are drying up. Why? Maybe to starve us? To say there's not enough food. You don't have any food now. We don't have any food to give you. And we starve. And I'm going to digress for a minute. I live in an HOA. Okay. I live in a beautiful backyard. I mean, I see deer in our backyard. I mean, it's just beautiful. Still an HOA. Not ours so much, but almost every other one I see. The HOA gives you two colors, light gray, dark gray, sometimes beige. I used to tell Dennis when we had to move because of they were selling the house. We had to find another rental. And every time we went to look at the place, I'd go down, go into the HOA, which is, they're everywhere now. And I would say, I can't live here, Dennis. This is a prison. I feel like I'm in a prison. Every house is the same. Like, every house. Oh, they changed the shutters. They put two windows in the front instead of one big one. That one's light gray. This one's dark gray. That one's beige. This one's light gray. That one's dark gray. This one's beige. If you see it, you see it. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you see what they're trying to do to us, you can't unsee it. So I said to a realtor about the HOAs, well, if I buy a house and I love window boxes, can I put a window box on the front of my window? No, you can't. Can't put a window box, can only plant certain trees. I can't have a garden On my own land, I can't have a garden. That is what I'm talking about. Exactly hits it right on the head. In the 60s, I'm going to go back now. Let me go back. The 60s and 70s, the opinion of most scientists and economists is that there are way too many people and we will run out of food and resources. That was in the 60s and 70s. There have been so many alarming proposals on how to attack this overpopulation dilemma. And I'm talking about at the World Economic Forums, during Bilderberg Group meetings. Let me give you a few that they came up with. Add sterilization drugs to the water supply. Offer responsibility cash prizes for families who choose not to have children. Offer lotteries for people who haven't had children. And the only way you can win is if you don't have any kids. Financial support or giving homes to people who get sterilized and promise they will not have children. For third world countries, all they do is stop food from being brought there if they had kids. So how can all this be a lie? Over the past decades, everyone assumed that the population was growing exponentially, and it has not. Actually, the population rate in 2023 was more than half of the population rate in 1950. The United Nations says the global population will peak right after the end of the century, then start to decline. So from now until the end of this century, it's going to peak and they're going to have to do something because there's too many people in the world. So why is this happening? There is the fall in global fertility, a huge fall amongst women. In 1950, the average family had 5 children. We are now at just over 2 children, 2.1 to 2.3. And this is around the world. The numbers we are given about the food supply is a lie. We are producing over twice as much food as needed if the population was over 8.5 billion, and it is not. Food resources over the last 50 years have doubled, tripled, and even quadrupled. Then the climate change argument comes into play. There's just way too many people, and it's the problem. Bill Gates said we can get rid of, if we do a good job with reproductive services and new vaccines, that those two will lessen the population. Do you know when I put on Facebook just came out, it was one of the first posts I ever did of his TED Talk, Bill Gates TED Talk about depopulation. You know what people said to me? You're misunderstanding him. How do you misunderstand that? How do you misunderstand a man saying, well, if we want to get down and depopulate the earth so that there's food enough for all of us to matter, then this is what we do. Reproductive services, we make sure that's alive and well and kill all those babies in the womb. And we make sure there's a lot of new vaccines. How does that equate to not depopulation if his argument was about depopulation? That's cognitive dissonance. That's how people will not see truth. So let's talk about the United Nations again. They say there are 8.5 billion people in the world. Fear again. Population alarmism, I call it. Economist Paul Ehrlich, oh God, you should look him up, says billions will die from starvation. Countries have implemented one-child-only policy, and they force you to abort if you get pregnant. China and India have led the way on that. Canada encourages just one child, and the USA is following. Abortion is one of the primary tools they've used to depopulate the world. And isn't it interesting that Margaret Sanger, early 1900s, was the founder of Planned Parenthood and put it in all Black communities. It's like, what is that saying? Sometimes the person that's holding the gun to shoot you is the one you think is your best friend. And the Black population majority still vote for the evil that is trying to kill them. It's the emoji. Do you know that abortion is the fourth leading cause of death in the world? Abortion, the fourth leading cause of death. Our last president said, and I say this very loosely, okay, said that very loosely, government agencies must ensure that adequate funds are being directed to support women's health needs globally, including sexual and reproductive health and reproductive rights. We have to dramatically expand the scope of these programs and pay for these abortion services. Shocker of shockers. Over the past few decades, they've convinced women to march and support killing their own children. Think about that. Killing their own children. They've been completely indoctrinated. The truth is, there is a population collapse that will occur if people do not start having kids. And not many are talking about this. So how many people are really in the world? I don't know. Does anyone really know? China reports in 2023 that they had 1.4 billion people living there. They projected to be at 2 billion in like a year and a half later. And I think that could be where they're saying they are right now. But this is what's interesting to me. Speaking of China, watch this.
3:25 p.m. on August 27th, 2021, thousands of people in the Chinese city of Kunming were standing on their balconies or in streets and parks holding their cameras. Everyone was extremely excited. As 3:30 got closer, the tension built. How loud would it be? Would they all fall? Am I far enough away? They were all looking at a neighbourhood of 15 high-rise buildings, 30 stories high.
15 towers, unfinished for 7 years. The developer bankrupt.
On radios across the area, a countdown started.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1,起爆!
4.8 tons of explosives detonated. Like candlesticks that had just had a tablecloth pulled out from underneath them, they toppled over sideways, into, onto, and around each other. It's not something you see every day, and yet
It's not an isolated case. Across China, the building boom that powered the economic miracle is running out of steam.
across China, more than 20% of apartments are vacant.
I mean, how many of you knew that even happened just recently? You'd think that it looks like half of a city just went down. And they're saying 20% of the apartments in China, biggest cities, are vacant. It's actually, if you look at the figures and you really dig and you figure it out, it's more like 50% are vacant. So why? Why lie about the population? It allows them to implement overpopulation tactics. pocket money for climate control, hold back food and starve people. Remember the Guidestones? Remember what the Guidestones said before they were taken out? They want the world population down to 500 million. Just only one point of reference, because I could go on and on. The Spanish flu. It was 1918, 1919. Killed nearly 100 million people during that time frame. And not one chart says about that decline. In fact, the following year, it went up. Seems like, how's that happen? How does the world population increase following a year where so many people were killed? So where are we right now? No idea. This is what I know. Again, with our older buildings, the timeline we believe in, we're living in, population of the world as we know it, could all very well be another lie. There's so much we don't know. And sometimes, yes, we get impatient with President Trump and those that are honest and working with him. And other people, there are other good presidents and people that are over countries. There are other good ones in the world. The job is huge. And the lies are even beyond what some of us thought we knew. I have basically, I'm out of time. I'm going to take a couple of questions. I have basically scratched the surface, guys. I mean, I've scratched the surface. I've laid a foundation, and I will pick this up again. But what we see and our eyes, our physical eyes, and our ears deceive us a lot. Sometimes we see things that aren't really there. It's a perspective. Sometimes we see things differently. Our ears, we hear things differently. I so dislike, I text and I email all the time. But I try so hard to be careful in my emails and my texts, because one word said, taken the wrong way, people lose their minds. So we have to be aware that look, I know you can find other places in the world that on paper look like they're more free. They're not. I thank God I'm living in this country at this time. And I thank God President Trump has done so much in so little time. So little. 16 weeks, I believe. Can you imagine? So all I can say is look around, really see. You know, my mother used to say something to me, and it's very interesting, and I just thought of it. She used to say to me, you know, Delora, she came into it was a long time ago, into one of our apartments with Dennis, and I were married just a few years. I remember this. And there was a little chip on the wall, like it was, the paint was peeling. It's a little chip. And she would say to me, you need to take care of that right away. I said, why? I mean, before somebody comes over, maybe I will, or I'll Dennis do it, or I'll call the apartment people or whatever. No. She said, you need to take care of that right away. And I said, why? She said, because before you know it, you won't see it anymore. It becomes part of your life. That's where we're living right now. Some of us no longer see what's around us. We no longer look at those magnificent edifices and say, how could those be built when we had dirt roads and horse and buggies? How? We don't look around at our houses and say, why are all of these the same color? What are they trying to make us think? We have to have a new set of eyes and a new set of understanding that President Trump, without a lot of people realizing, is resetting our country and actually the world into a whole different place. It's not that he's just going to take out taxes and he's going to do that. No, there is a reset, unwinding and resetting our country. It's not about one little thing, two little things. It's about reset. And it's about understanding what is actually happening in our world today. Anyway, I'll take a couple of Ronnie Ronzo, do you think our calendar we are using has been manipulated? Ronnie, my opinion, yes. Have I verified that and proved it yet? No. So I would believe that, Ronnie, probably. Yeah. Okay, a lot of nice chat happening on YouTube too. Oh, I wish I could have read it. I'm going to have to go back and read. Any questions on YouTube as well? I'm on Twitch. I'm on X. Just put in 3 question marks and ask the question. On topic, Karen. Thank you. Thank you. On topic. I know. Let me tell you, the moderators, Renee and Karen. Thank you. I've got you hopping, ladies. You are hopping now. 4 platforms. Two chats flying. Thank you for your service to me. I cannot thank you enough. Okay. Gilman, I agree with you. I don't think we're as far along in the timeline as we've been told. I agree with you, Gilman, 100%. It's all fear. David Costello, maybe they're hiding a technology that built those impressive 1-bathroom mansions. I agree, David. That was the point I was making. There is a lot of technology that has been hidden from us. Tons. And I think of people we love that have passed before us. And I know of technology that can help save people's lives. It's really, oh boy. Anyway, okay, that's it. No, Bonnie Aldi, have you heard of the Zadok calendar? Very interested in reading a book about it, and I have a calendar. I have not, Bonnie, but I will. David Costello, very interesting. But Bonnie, I'm going to look into that. Thank you. David Costello said possible 3D printers way back there. Huge 3D printers. I can't say no to that. Caden, do you think the Freemasons had anything to do with hidden history? I think the Freemasons had to do with everything. I think they have to do with everything. Not the good people that think they're joining this to help kids. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about those on the top. Just like the CIA, rank and file good people. FBI, rank and file good people. It's always the ones that get to the top. And you get to the top. If you're corrupt, you get to the top because the top's corrupt. And there you go. Magnolia, my brain is on overload. Thank you. Okay. I know, Lana, we need longer than an hour. If this was Wednesday, I probably would. But it's Friday, and I've got a show in a few hours, and I got to prepare for that. Just so you know, before I announce, before I talk about my gorgeous thing here, I want to wish you all a very happy Mother's Day. First of all, I don't want to forget to do that. Mothers, I'll tell you, mothers. There's a saying that the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. It's an amazing saying. There's going to be a next week. Maybe I'll continue this on Wednesday, maybe not, but on Friday, the 16th, is a big day. I'll tell you what it is. At noon on Off the Cuff is I'm having on Pastor Dean Odell. He's going to talk about biblical cosmology. He's going to talk about the ether. He's going to talk about a lot of stuff that is going to be very interesting, especially for those that are kind of like, I don't know. If you are a Bible believer, you got to come, you got to hear this. And then Friday will be Off the Cuff. And then after Off the Cuff at 7:30 will be Tea for Two. So next Friday is going to be a big, big day. Let me just go over this. So this is Proud to be an American, USA flag, lightweight sheer. Let me put it up again. Jenna had me take that picture. I'm not like, I'm kind of about it, but you know, what are you going to do? That's what it looks like. It goes down to like the knees. It's just, oh man, it's just incredible. I want to show you this. Let me show you. Look at that. Look at that. It's so cute. It's so cute. It is really, really cute. So there's that. And it's really inexpensive. And you can use it for Memorial Day and July 4th. And she has less than a dozen, she said. So go to joyandcountry.com. It's in the description in both YouTube, everywhere, Rumble. Okay. And then look at this. I'm like, can't even believe this. You see this, Rose? You see? Hold on. There it is. Nope, there it is. See that? Watch this. Look at the gorgeous necklace. Okay. So this says, to my daughter, a rose for your endless warmth, a knot for our unbreakable bond. I mean, it is just, I wish you could see this, but anyway, it's in the description. It comes with a box and a bag and beautiful Christmas gift. Beautiful. If you do Christmas, I try to do some Christmas early, but look at it, just beautiful, just beautiful. So there's that. It's the Rose rotating gift box, up to 20% off on joyandcountry.com. Your entire order, up to, including clearance items for a Mom's Day sale. And remember, always free US shipping. Okay, guys, thank you for hanging in. And if I'm not going to go into what my friend started at the beginning, Denise, but if you want to know what that is, just play this over again and you can go there and fill it out and I'll get to you. I personally will get to you. Okay. So anyway, happy Mother's Day, everyone. Love you dearly. You're all amazing and you don't know what you do for me. You make me feel better just being on here. Love you all. Remember, always go in the power of God. See you tonight.